I had a wonderful childhood in Washburn, North Dakota, growing up at the banks of the big Missouri. And it served me very well.
From the banks of the Missouri to the Secret Service, such was the path that led Clint Hill to the Kennedy presidential detail. As a Secret Service agent, he was assigned to First Lady Jacqueline Kennedy.
She was very devoted to her husband, and he was very devoted to her.
Hill says working with the Kennedys required a special touch due to the president's physical condition.
There's some things that he just couldn't do. He couldn't bend over and pick up his son, for example. He'd have to either have one of us would pick him up and hand him to him, or he'd have to kind of get down almost on a knee.
Clint Hill was also part of the Dallas motorcade in 1963, the day America lost a president. When the shots rang out, he's the man who ran to the presidential limousine and climbed over the back to Mrs. Kennedy. He's also the last surviving passenger of that presidential limousine that raced to the hospital with the fallen president.
Perhaps there was some hit in that car as well. We're not sure.
I've always had a sense of guilt and responsibility for what happened in Dallas. Because at the time that it happened, considering everything, my position, the shooter's position, everything else, I was the only one who had a chance to do anything that day. And I couldn't get there fast enough to do it. I had done everything I could that day. There wasn't anything more I could have done, considering everything. And yet, that lingering inability to prevent from happening what did happen still eats at me.
50 years later, after serving presidents, traveling the world, and being a part of history, coming home to North Dakota has special meaning for Clint Hill.
So it was just a magnificent way to grow up as a child. I wish that my own grandchildren had that opportunity to grow up like that.
In Bismarck for KX News, Barbara Sharp.